Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. This is episode 14, and my name is Heidi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Plurk as Knitty Girl, and Twitter and Instagram as Knitty Girl 1. I'm going to go ahead and get started. You might notice I'm not sure about the quality of this video. I just got a new laptop, so I thought I would try to record on it and see what the video quality looks like. It doesn't look that great while I'm recording, but I did one and play it back and it looked better, so hopefully it won't be too bad of quality. You could probably see I'm in a different place. This is my office where I work and have all of my things, my horror books and my horror things, and my poster and that's wine bottles, my little wallpaper that I like. And over here you might see I have an Adam Ant album in a frame. He's my favorite artist. Anyway, and I also have behind me, this is some of my workstation that I do for my yarn dyeing. I do my winding right back here, and then I actually have the yarn behind me, and this is where it all gets started. I do my dyeing out in the garage, but I get ready for it in here with all my other stuff. So why don't I go ahead and start showing you some of the things I've been working on. There's one thing that I was working on a lot, and then I just got stalled out on it, but it got so big I had to change it to a new bag. I did have my sweater, the Wicked by Rachel Bishop, in my Crazy Threads bag, but now it's too big. So I think this is a Zoe bag. Zoe's bags, maybe? It was on Etsy. That's another horror bag. But I had to transfer it because it got so big that I couldn't fit it in the other bag anymore. And here is where I am. I have not, unfortunately, I haven't picked it up since I separated for the sleeves. But this is where let's see if you can see. Here's the top. And it's gotten so far that now I'm down to the sleeve part on both sides. And that's kind of where I stopped. This is how long it is right now. Down here. I'm loving the color. I really like the yarn. It's nice to work with. This is Elan.com yarn. It's Eurosa Ran, which is alpaca and wool, and I am definitely enjoying knitting with that. But I'm gonna have to motivate myself to knit more on this because I'm realizing, and I kind of thought this, I'm not really a sweater knitter. I have garments, and don't get me wrong, I love them when I'm done with them, but while I'm knitting them, sometimes it feels like a slog because it's not, I don't know, I really, my favorite thing to knit is shawls, and I love to knit lace shawls. And yeah, I could try to knit a lace sweater, but then there's not only worrying about the decreases and increases, then you also, I mean, you know, like the yarn overs and everything, and then you have to worry about the shaping as well when you're doing a sweater, so I don't think I would enjoy knitting even a lace sweater. But I really do like the product, the outcome. So I'm trying to challenge myself to do things that I don't always think are like the best, but I've really wanted to knit this pattern a long time. I like the sweater a lot, so I know I'll really like it when it's done. So that's my Wicked. I don't know why I want to call it Tempted. It's Wicked. Wicked by Rachel Bishop. And the another thing I've been working on, I made quite a bit of progress. This is my Undead Yarn. Here's one sock. And I'm on the second sock, and I started the afterthought heel. I took out the yarn and started the afterthought heel. And this is my Zombified in self-striping colorway. And that is what is now in my Crazy Threads bag because that will fit. And I did actually finish some things. And they are simple things, but it's kind of nice to have a couple finished objects now and then. These are snuggles, and I'm entering them in the Yarnivore podcast with Sadie. She is doing a pet blanket knit along. I guess copyright, want to be careful about what you call it, but they're going to go to places that collect snuggles for dogs and cats. Here's my first one, and this one I knit with Red Heart Soft, and this is just Grandma's favorite dishcloth made really big. And actually this yarn is pretty squishy. It doesn't feel so bad. And then the other one, this is a crochet one because my crochet guild is in the Ravelinics and we're doing snuggles, but we have to crochet them because it's the crochet guild. So this is, I used the double V-stitch pattern, and you can find that on my pattern page. I'm not sure who wrote it, but it's basically just double crochet through the whole thing. And I ran out of yarn, so I decided to add a border because it was kind of small to begin with. So this is definitely this is actually as big as the circular one that I did last year. I measured them together, and so this is probably big enough for a small cat snuggle. And I did this one with I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, and this is a striping colorway. I think it's autumnal stripes maybe, and then this is just the Red Heart Soft from the other one that I put on there. And so those are my finished objects. I had 2, which is nice. Then I also wanted to talk about some enabling. But, oh, forgot. Week in Review is next. So let's do that before I move on to enabling. Yesterday, obviously, was Valentine's Day, and we had a good time. My husband actually worked outside a lot in the afternoon. He took part of the day off because we had a lanai delivered. It's not built, he has to build it, and so he started working on it yesterday, and he spent quite a bit of time doing that. So that I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'll post a picture maybe on Instagram. You can see what it's kind of looking like, work in progress. Came in a bunch of pieces, and he's putting it together, but it's kind of neat that it slides together instead of having to hammer everything. We're probably gonna have to go back and put like screws and stuff in, and he might need some help with connecting it to the house because we're not really sure how to do that. So that is something that has been happening. And yesterday we also had a heart-shaped pizza that I ordered from a place called Bellini's. And I have to say that is the best pizza I've ever had in Austin. It reminded me a lot of the Chicago deep dish pizza. It was a deep pizza with lots and lots of tomato sauce and on top. And there's so much of that and cheese that you couldn't see underneath. And we had for our toppings, we had veggies. And it was so delicious. Surprised I don't hear more about it, but maybe people just don't know much about Bellini's because it's all the way up here in Cedar Park, which is not close to the city, and they only have one location. But it was not cheap. I was really shocked when they told me how much it was going to cost, but I thought, it's for a holiday, might as well do it. Especially because Valentine's Day is kind of special for me and my husband. That's kind of when I decided, okay, yeah, maybe I like you enough for you to be my boyfriend. I knew he was interested in just dating me exclusively at the time, and I just wasn't sure, you know, I wasn't ready. But that week I went on a date with another guy, and I was like, I don't really like this guy. And it dawned on me, I'm like, why am I dating these other people? I really like Anthony a lot. And so I called him up, and he came to visit me. And on that it was like a Valentine's Day weekend, and I was still in school, and I called him and asked him if he could come down, and so he got on the bus because we were from different schools. We met through one of my friends from high school. That was his roommate. And so he came down to visit me when I was in my last year at my undergrad. And we've been together ever since. And I was figuring that out because we've been married 16 years now. But we've actually been together for 22 years. That seems like a very long time. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But that's why Valentine's Day is kind of special for us. We also rented a movie and watched last night. It's called The Spectacular Now, and it was really interesting. It was recommended to me on not Netflix, Redbox. I got an email recommending a couple of romantic movies, and while it had a romance, it really was more than that. It kind of dealt with the issues of what it's like for people when they're in their late teens, early 20s, and dating, and how you may be thinking of the future, or you may not be thinking of the future, and the two characters that get together are both very different, and so it was really interesting, and the character development was really good. So if you want a good movie with a little bit of romance thrown in, and good characters and good character development, I would recommend it. It was called The Spectacular Now. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is I finished watching Dexter. Oh my god, what a crappy ending. I can't believe it. I was so disappointed. Oh my god. I won't spoil it if there are people who still haven't seen it, but I might put up a thread in the group to talk about it, because I want to know what other people thought. I was like, no. Really? Really? That's it? So that was disappointing. And I have an idea for a Dexter colorway, but I haven't done it yet, so stay tuned for that. I do have two things of enabling this week, and the first one is from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I've been wanting to buy his stuff, but I'm going to be going to the market at SSK, so I thought, oh, I'll just buy it there. But then he put this color up, and I'm doubting that he's going to have this in the middle of July, so I had to go ahead and buy it now. And here's his card. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He has the Dramatic Knits podcast. I've been listening to that podcast since the beginning. I was really interested to see where he would go with his podcast, because he's an English teacher, and that's originally what I was going to do. I didn't end up doing that in the long run, but I love reading, and I find it interesting to hear about what he's talking about work, and now also dyeing, since he's a dyer too now. This is called Hopping Along, and it's the Easter colorway, and that's why I thought, well, I have to go ahead and get it, because I doubt he's going to be selling an Easter colorway in the middle of July at SSK. I really love it. I love the colors and how they mixed them. It's beautiful. And this is on the Showstopper base. It's 463 yards and 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And then I also got my second installment of the Pretty Princess Club from Drinks Yarn, and she decided to use the princess from Tangled as her inspiration for this month. And here is the colorway. She calls it Rapunzel after her name. I'm not sure that the colors are showing up quite right. Maybe if I hold it back a little bit. That's a little better. I think this was a genius idea, because it has the Pantone colorway of the year now. This is, she took it from a dress that she wore, and the flowers in her hair on a part of the movie. It's that orchid color, and I don't think the orchid color is showing up correctly, but it's the orchid color, and it has splashes of orange and purple and blue and green, all different kind of colors, and it's really pretty. And this is her, I want to say it's her strong sock. This is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it's 400 yards. So I love it. And as you know, I think she has become one of my favorite dyers. Her dyeing just keeps getting better. Every time I see a new colorway, I want to buy it. And I can't buy them all, unfortunately. But this one was a club, so I had already paid for it. And she also has some new buttons. And I got a card, too. So thank you, Laura. I love it. Nice job. So those are the only things I have for enabling this week. Do remember, I'm trying to be more mindful of my buying this year. So mostly I'm going to I am going to support indie dyers because I think that's very important because I'm one myself. But I'm trying to stick to the fiber festivals, local yarn shop, and I'm limiting what I buy online because a lot of the indie dyers that I like are going to be at the fiber festivals that I'm going to. So anyway, I wanted to show you, I do have some new colors in my shop. I'm really happy about the one that I'm going to show you today. Well, it's not my shop yet. It's going to be in the shop soon. I haven't taken pictures because they're totally not dry yet. But this is another one of the roadkill colorways, and I think I'm going to try to do more of these. I had a whole bunch of leftover dyes, so I tried something different this time. It was immersion dyeing, but I also did less mixing than I normally do, and I really love how it came out. I'm not sure. No, the colors are not quite right because there's more yellow and green in this. The spots that look like they're white are yellow, different yellows and greens. There's some green in there, and I love how it came out. There's lots of splashes of color all over the skein. This is one skein that's available, and I'll show you the other one too because it looks different from that one. But I dyed them in the same pot. So this technique was kind of neat because it allowed me to have that one shows up more of the colors, but you really can't see where it looks natural. It's mostly yellow or green. Sorry about that. My husband's home. The dog's heard. So this is a new roadkill colorway that I'll be putting up this weekend. And then I finally found a perfect gray. I've been trying to get a good gray, and I like the grays that I have in my my other colors, but I wanted a certain gray, and I finally got the right mixture of colors to get it, and I'm going to be calling that one Gravedigger, and that will be in the shop as well. And that one is on my Superwash Merino base, or not Superwash, that's the Merino base, the new werewolf base that I have. And I believe the Potluck is on that too. I have to go back and check on that, but I believe they're both on the werewolf base, which is 100% merino, not superwash. And that comes in 350 yards. And all my skeins, just so you'll know, and I put it in the shop because somebody had asked me, they're all 100 grams unless I otherwise specify. I buy my yarns in skeins. I'm not rolling them off of cones or anything, so they're all 100 grams unless otherwise specified, and that would be if I used something different. And I did have some things in there. I think I still have one colorway in there called Mellifer that was done on something other than my normal bases, and those I should have the yardage in, and I probably will go back and weigh them to find out exactly how much they are. But anyway, we're up to, we added a couple more people this week, and I am still trying to increase the group membership, and when we get up to 200, I will go ahead and pull for another skein of my yarn. So let everybody know. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, if you see something in the shop that you want on one of my other bases, or if you would like a custom order, you can always use the custom order tag in my shop. I do have one up. And I would like to say with that, get busy knitting or get busy dyeing. I can't stop it.